Good morning, boatingbanner.com fans. Captain Larry here with chapter 34. Let's go for a ride. Today we are going to finish or do my backrest for my Cobalt. It's a 98 220, I believe it's called, 22 footer, so it has a big backrest for the front cockpit area. So I wanted to show it to you. We've done this before in smaller versions. This is obviously a lot bigger version. Things we want to look at today that will be kind of unique. Not a lot of new things, so I'll kind of try to go through this quickly for you. Again, we'll be dealing with an inside corner here. So we're going to have to worry about adhesives of some kind here. Also, I added this foam strip. And I'll tell you why I did that. I'll show you this is the other side. I know what I have to do. And this one here has the rip. The previous owner just put some tape on that. I think that looks tacky as hell, so I'm gonna redo the whole thing. Anyway, I like it. Cobalt does a nice job. A lot of double stitches. But what they did up here is, I don't know if you can see it, it bounces out a little bit, but they just simply put the white vinyl on there as a separate piece for the backrest. And I thought, that's all right, but I think maybe we could do better, I hope. So what I thought I'd do is, number one, make that more pronounced of a bump. That's why I glued this on. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a contrasting color, I guess you'd call that. I'm going to have gray on the bottom of it, goes under here, and I'm going to put gray here. So I think it's going to look a little fancier, a little nicer, and set it off a little bit. We'll see. I hope I don't make a mess. And just one side before we get going here. This is the reason I'm doing this. I don't know if you can see the big cut I got here. Now this wasn't from anything sharp. This was simply leaning up against it. And I guess just as a word, if you're looking to buy an older boat, or if you have a boat and you decide, well, should I replace the vinyl or not, what I'd recommend is you can really feel the difference here. When the sun, UV rays, and chemicals get in, you can feel how hard this is. It's very unsupple, I guess is the word. And this is what happens. Here is a perfectly fine, you would think, just looking at it, piece of vinyl. But it's split. It will just keep splitting, so it has to be repaired. Where down here, it feels fine. Why it's like that, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't exposed as much to the sun. But anyway, if you want to check out boats, either you're going to buy one or use one or your own boat, I say just feel it. And if you don't feel a soft vinyl, you're going to have problems. Whether it's this year or next year, you're going to have problems. So just put that into your calculations when you say how much of the vinyl am I going to have to redo. And that's a real quick test. And okay, I got everything cut out. We'll get sewing here, and I'll show you how I'll do it. And we're using the Tenera thread. So it's like I said, that's a lifelong guarantee on that stuff. This is my boat. I'm hopefully going to have it for a while. So I want to use the best stuff. I got good vinyl, 32-ounce vinyl. We're going to use the Tenera thread, which is a little harder to sew with. I'll show you how I do that. But we'll bring you right back. Hello again. I just wanted to bring you back to this section. I think it's going to be the hardest of the whole redo. I have, this is the plate. And this is our gray insert. We have a real sharp corner here, and I'm worried about some wrinkles in this area. So we'll have to see how this all goes. I wanted to show you that. And also the sewing with the Tenera, I think, is a little different. Let me just show you that. The two things that I found you really need to do if you're using the Tenera thread is, I like that old original holder they had, because you need to really put it a long way off, and that is basically to get this thread. It feels almost like fishing line. I think that's what the problem is compared to regular thread. So it's a lot less flexible. So the further away you can get it, the more it stretches out. The other thing you need to do is this tensioning knob has to be screwed in several times. You again, like I always tell you, really need to use scrap and check this out before you get going. Here's, I don't know if you can see this, but here are the ones that I checked. And you want to feel over, and it wants to feel smooth, both top and bottom. You should be able to rub your hands over it and not feel any bumps. If you feel any bumps, the knot is not being pulled up into the fabric. Now this one here is a real good one. This was not a very good one. Knots both on top and bottom, and that was because the tension was not high enough. So you have to screw that tension in several times and just keep playing with it until you get those knots sinking down, so you can rub your fingers over it and it's relatively smooth. Then you know you have the knots in the material. But like I say, this is fantastic thread. Once you play with it a while and you get used to it, it does a great job. Welcome back, everybody. Well, I finished it, and in doing so, created the mortal sin of sewing. I ran out of thread on my bobbin because I had decided to, I forgot I had already done all of the piping for the projects, actually for both of them. And I used all the thread up there because I had made a new bobbin, of course, when I changed threads. And so anyway, I ran out right here. What I decided to do was to put a double seam on this one because I think it looks a lot nicer. And also this is a stress point here, and so I wanted to make sure that it held for the years to come. Anyway, so it came out pretty good. I stapled it all the way around. I was worried about this corner, but as you can see, I think it's going to be okay. So it will lay down. It's a little puffy, but I need the puffiness to get over the foam that I put on there. And I think the double seam made it look really nice. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. Don't run your bobbin out, especially when you're doing a decorative, where if you're doing a back stitch and you run out, nobody cares. But in the decorative one, that's what you're looking at. So I don't think you barely see it, but I got a little boo-boo down there. But otherwise it looks pretty good. So anyway, that's where it is. Welcome back, everybody. I have finished assembling the vinyl. And here it is. It was a lot more difficult than the Monterey project was so far. As you see, I did a lot of double stitching. It had a lot of double stitching also, but I double stitched basically almost everything except the bottom. The top is double stitched, even the end is double stitched. I didn't think that, obviously, with that blue piping down there, it would make no sense, and I did not double stitch underneath. But yeah, there it is. So the big thing is going to be trying to figure out how to get this to lay flat. I got a couple of ideas on the adhesive part. The sewing was really not anything to show you. It was tough. I had to go really slow. I didn't do a lot of stapling. I found with the other project too is the less you don't use staples and you really kind of keep your, again, you got to have great edges. Keep your edges together. Go really slow. I was going like an inch at a time, just feeding both of the corners together. And most of it came out pretty good. I guess I have a boo-boo here and there, but it came out okay. It just takes a little bit longer, obviously, that way, but I think in the long run it's going to look good. I hope everybody likes the gray insert. I think I will like it. Of course, now it matches this. Of course, that's underneath. You don't see much of it, but some of the other parts are gray in the boat, so I think it will look a little nicer. make a little more sense than just putting the white one in like they have. And you got the end cap, and I did everything. I did the plate first, put that on this, then I did the whole plate, then I did the top boxing around, then I did the side and the bottom. And one thing that I can mention to you, what I did each and every single time that I had a piece, I went back, I took the original template, and I went back to the foam, and I put it on there and I measured, make sure am I going to have enough to get over the staple, am I going to come out the end, am I going to have enough room, did I cut it wrong, you know, the edges are all going to be where they're supposed to be. Each time before I sewed, I think that's an excellent habit to get into. Don't assume anything. Don't sew it all together and then try to put it on at the end. Say, oh no, it's not working. So every piece you do, I highly recommend you go back to the board, the foam, and put it on there and say, okay, this is the way the angle it's on. It rolls over. It doesn't roll over. So. And I still make mistakes, but that way there, at least you're going in, everything should fit when you're done. If you do it piece by piece, and what I did, I just worked my way down to the end. And the end had enough to cover the end cap, so it didn't come up short. So that's good. So anyway, I'm going to do some tacking. Put this on, and then I'll bring you back when we're ready. Okay, welcome back everybody. We're on the final stretch here. Let me just tell you, this is about 3 days hence from our last video. I had a wrinkle here. You know, you can't see it, it's flat now, but I worked on this thing, I bet you cumulatively an hour with steam, stapling and pulling. No matter what I did, it kept moving around. So all I can say is when you're doing this thing, number one, you really need steam. And number two is you got to be patient. And when you, like me, when you lose your patience, you got to walk away from it. So I kept coming back to it, and finally we're okay now. We have one more spot here. It's got a feet and size in it. Stay patient. Pretty good. One of the, I saw a video a while ago where a professional upholsterer was showing me, of course, he had this several $1,000 steamer he was using. Figured my little $100 one here. But it worked. But what he suggested was if you can't afford a steamer, is to just take rags and nuke them in the microwave and get them hot. Just lay the wet rags on these. It's going to take a few times doing it, but hey, can't beat the price. Something you may want to try. Oh, that looks pretty good. This came out very nice. There's really no problem. I didn't have to steam it at all. Just by pulling the top and the bottom, it came out all right. This was my Achilles heel, and I glued this. And because of the glue, I do have some wrinkles here that are really not going to come out with steaming, so they are glued in now. So I have one more of these to do. They're not bad. It's small. But next time I won't really be showing you that. I'll let you know how it comes out, but this time I put adhesive all over here and over here. Next time I'm just putting adhesive here. Okay, welcome back everybody. I'm going to put an addition on to this chapter. I wanted to show you the finished product, which I really didn't do a very good job of. Here it is. What I did is, you remember if you go to chapter 20, where the original product was, this was white. And all they had done is they had sewn, single stitch sewed that product in there, and was white on a white background, so it had no distinction. So I decided to accent it with the gray that I have on the bottom. Put that for the, like a headrest, backrest kind of thing. There's also a piece of foam in there, so give a little bit of bounce. I think it sets it off, makes it look a little nicer. Went pretty smooth, like I said. Really, just again, you really need to put each of these pieces onto, before you go to sewing and stuff, put them on there, make sure that they go in the spots. The good thing about using old foam that's on there, you can see right where the seam went. So put it right in the same spot. Make sure the seam is on the seam and on the seam, and then everything should come out pretty good. Like I say, this next time I'm going to not put adhesive here because it's caused me a little bit of bubbling. That was probably a mistake, but I put it on here and it came out pretty good. So I think it's on the curves that are the most problematic. As far as the usage of vinyl, this goes down at an angle, as you can see, so it kind of uses more vinyl than you probably really need. But definitely was not a $2 project. It was quite. The steaming was incredible. I say I have over an hour of steaming in here, and 90% of it was right here. For some reason, I had a big couple of ripples all the way down, and I chased them. I unstapled it, restapled it, pulled it, steamed it, and eventually I just kept steaming and steaming and steaming, and they went down. So I guess that is the key. And this got flat. I had some bubbles there, and that got pretty flat now. So I think we're in good shape. Came out pretty good. It'll look a lot better in my boat than the original ones. So anyway, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time when we do the boat seat.